I want to thank you for spending some time with me today, and particularly thank you for spending some time at CX Live at Sapphire. Do appreciate the time you spent there. At CX Live, you heard, as you recall, a lot of information around XM or experience management. You also heard a lot of information around X data or experience data and O data, meaning operational data. But more importantly, you heard about the power of X plus O from the context of CX or customer experience. And the power of X plus O, as you recall, was the fact that not only does it enable you to acquire customers, but it enables you to retain those customers. So what I'd like to do today is expand on that topic, not so much from an SAP perspective, but from what we're hearing and seeing in the industry around customer retention and customer acquisition. And what we're seeing and hearing in the industry today around those two topics is not all that much different from what we experienced in the past 40 years of doing business with what we're seeing and hearing is the same thing that we've heard again over the years of being in business. CEOs, CMOs, and chief digital officers, they all want to know, how can we get more customers? How can we get them faster and cheaper? How can we market to a segment of one? How can we retain customers? And how can we give the customer the experience that they deserve? What has changed around all those hows, if you will, is the approach to those questions. And the approach is different because the customer environment is different, as well as customer expectations are different. The customer environment is different within your industry, but not only within your industry, but across all industries. And customer expectations are different. In fact, customers expect you to know who they are, even though you may not know who they are. For instance, if I'm shopping on your site and I happen to leave a couple of products in the cart and exit your browser, the customer expects, or I might expect, that when I return to that browser, that those same products are in the cart and you can offer me a promotion to go ahead and acquire those products. Secondly, as you know, customers are experiencing or want to experience a great customer journey. And if you don't deliver on that customer journey, they're liable to just exit your site or your brand and go to another site or brand to purchase a similar or the same product. And lastly, customers expect you to understand and meet them where they're at, any place, anytime, on any channel. And if you don't, they're very fickle and likely to go to another site that can accommodate them on the particular channel they happen to be on. So with these changes in customer environment and customer expectations, it impacts on the how. And at the root of these changes is the fact that we understand now that experiences matter. We all understand that experiences matter from a customer perspective, but what does it mean to your business to not only acquire, but more importantly, and just as importantly, retain those customers? Well, studies have shown that a retained customer is likely to visit your site 90% more frequently, right? And of those 60% that visit your site on a more frequent basis, 60% of those 90% will spend more. And we also understand that if you can increase your customer retention rate by 5%, you have the possibility to increase your profitability by 9%. So very powerful statistics. What we're seeing in the industry, and we talk to CEOs in particular about the customer experience that they're delivering to their end customers and their perception of that customer experience as they see it, is that they feel that they're delivering a superior customer experience. And how do they know that? Well, they take a look at their operational data. And it tells them that this particular customer or customers continue to spend, and therefore they must be happy. Well, the reality is, and when you talk to when we talk to CEOs, 80% of these CEOs will tell you that they are delivering a superior customer experience. Well, the reality is only 8% of those very same customers will tell you that they're delivering on the experience that they demand. And that differential between the 80% and the 8% is called the experience management gap. And if you don't fill that gap, you're in jeopardy of losing a customer for life, right? Forget about the fact that as well it impacts customer acquisition, but we all understand, as I just articulated, the value of retaining customers. So the question is, how do you eliminate that gap, that experience management gap? And the way you do it is you first have to start listening to your customers. You have to understand their beliefs, their emotions, their intentions, and that's the X data. And once you understand the X data, then you have to begin to assimilate that data and collect that data in a centralized location. Typically what we see is market research is contained in silo areas within the organization, so you're never getting a complete view of the customer experience. But if you're able to centralize the collection of experience data, again, the beliefs, the emotions, the intentions, and then combine that with operational data or the O data, now you can get a complete picture of your customer in real time, right? And getting that 360-degree customer. So as he's going through your site and experiencing the approach to that site by the customer, and you continually asking questions on what he likes and what he dislikes and why is he interested in a particular product, again, trying to capture his beliefs, intentions, and emotions, and combining that with O data, then you'll be able to analyze that data from, again, a different perspective, right? A 360-degree view of that customer. And in real time, be able to react to that customer and take action so that you're constantly fulfilling his needs and providing that customer experience that the particular customer demands and expects. And therefore, if it's a new customer, you're able to keep that customer and acquire a new customer. But if it's a old customer, again, you're able to maintain that customer's loyalty. So the value of X plus O is customer acquisition and customer retention. And as a result of that, again, we know that 90% of loyal customers frequent that site and tend to spend at that site. And 60% of those, again, spend more than the average spend if he's not a loyal customer. So the acquisition and the retention of customers is the power of X plus O, plus and more importantly, and just as importantly, you're decreasing that experience management gap next to and coming close to zero. So, and that's giving you a competitive advantage in the industry. So let me give you an example of a recent experience I had with a large hardware big box store down the road from me. As you know, we had a lot of rain over the winter. And as the spring came along and the temperatures got warmer, that spawned black and green mold on my stucco house. And it got to the point where I was getting letters from the homeowners association that I needed to do something about it. And quite frankly, I don't want those folks on my back. So I go out to power wash my house one Saturday, and the power washer would not start. The engine just gave out. And I've had that power washer maybe 4 years, but not much longer. And the engine just died. So I was in the market for a new power washer. And it just so happens that on a Friday of this particular week, I get an email from the big box store saying that, hey, we're having power washers on sale. And I got that email on my iPhone. I go to access their mobile application to get more information about that promotion and couldn't find it. That was a little frustrating, but being a low customer, I came back to home, got on my laptop, and took a look at their website and was able to find the information that I wanted. And I found a particular make and model that I decided to go ahead and purchase. And that was on a Friday. So I go up that Saturday all pumped up about being able to power wash my house and get the homeowners association off my back. And only to find out once I arrive that the power washer I had in mind is not in stock. But being somewhat of a loyal customer, or being a loyal customer, if you will, I agreed to have them go ahead and back order it, and I'm willing to wait 3 to 4 days for the power washer. In the meantime, I get another letter from the homeowners association, so I'm anxious to get this thing. Well, it finally arrives. I go back up to the store to the customer service desk to go pick that thing up, and it's like I didn't exist. You know, in their system, they didn't understand the thousands of dollars I have spent over the years at that store, and the fact that I went up earlier in the week to acquire a power washer. It wasn't in stock, and I put it on back order. And so this is causing confusion, and it was frustrating me. I had to get the manager over and say, hey, here's the situation. And fortunately, the power washer was in stock, and I took it home. So, and that was on a Saturday, as I mentioned. I had given up a golf outing on a particular course that I really wanted to play. So I sacrificed a great Saturday to power wash this house. So I'm anxious to get it done. I go ahead and crank up the new power washer, and lo and behold, there's a hole in the hose that connects the nozzle to the engine, and water's leaking everywhere. Well, that really ticked me off. I had to put that thing back in my car and take it up to the store to have it replaced. And luckily, there was one in stock that I took home, and fortunately, it started, and I was able to power wash that house. But it was very frustrating to go back up and have to replace this thing on top of the poor customer service and the mobile app not working. But I went ahead and purchased it anyway, right? Well, if you were to ask the organization what kind of customer am I, they will tell you that I'm a pretty loyal customer, and they're delivering on my demands around customer experience and customer service, only because they have operational systems there that say I'm a repeat customer. But what they don't know is that I'm leaving this particular big box brand and going down the street to the other to see if they can earn my business. If in fact the store had understood my beliefs, and my beliefs were the reason I was getting this particular power washer was because of the engine itself. It had a Honda engine. They're reliable, they're easy to maintain, and they last, right? If they had understood that, they may have been able to offer me other appliances or tools that had a Honda engine, like a lawnmower, because I was interested in getting a lawnmower as well, because the other one was just old. And again, if they had known I'd really like the Honda engines, they perhaps could have offered me another promotion around the lawnmower and the power washer and give me a bundle deal, but they didn't. They didn't understand my emotions, right? The emotions of having a little irritation around the mobile app, very big irritations around the fact that they didn't know me when I went back to customer service, and huge dissatisfaction when I had a leak in the hose and had to go back up. And I have known that and been asking me questions at each step of the process of my experience and how I'm liking and understand why I was buying what I was buying, and it was just not on price. They could have offered me some promotions, like I mentioned about the lawnmower. They could have given me perhaps soap and bleaches to help wash my house and kind of mitigate the frustration I had, but they didn't, right? And my intentions were that perhaps I would have bought that lawnmower, but didn't. And I also had to clean the surface of my driveways along with power washing my house. If they understood that and asked me questions, or maybe offered me some accessories and given me a promotion on a surface cleaner, then perhaps, I would have spent more money, right? And they could have kept me as a loyal customer, but they didn't. And though they think I'm a loyal customer, I'm going down the road to see if the other big box store can earn my business. And so If they had known what the experience I was going through and combine it with their operational systems and the consolidation place within their systems, they could have perhaps retained me as a customer because they would have known my beliefs. They would have known the frustrations and my emotions around this particular acquisition, and they would have known my intentions, but they didn't. And as a result, I'm going down the road and see if they can earn my business. And if they do, I will stick with the new big bucks hardware store. So that's the power, I think, of having X data, experience data combined with O data, right? Not only are you able to acquire customers, but you're able to retain customers, what used to be loyal customers like myself. And so what I like to do is expand on this conversation with your organization in particular, obviously, and understand any issues or pains or challenges you have around customer acquisition, around customer retention, and around your perception of the customer's experiences that you're delivering to your customer base right now. And perhaps understanding those challenges and exploring the customer experience and experience management issues around what you might be experiencing. Perhaps we can offer a solution to, again, acquire customers, keep those customers, and increase profitability. So thank you for your time, and we'll talk to you hopefully next week.